Everybody's eyes are on Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia as potential candidate countries of the European Union. I think we shouldn't neglect, the Eastern Partnership initiative as such. It's much broader. It takes more countries. It takes probably more issues all in all. So that's why, seeing this enlargement process coming to Eastern Partnership region, which we appreciate, as a very timely and geopolitical, wisely decision reflecting political realities. But we can't, overlook the Eastern Partnership importance as a political initiative of the European Union. It's about more regions, more countries. So that's why the general conclusion was we have to maybe recalibrate Eastern Partnership, but have this initiative as such, right? It has a major impact on regional cooperation, on regional security, regional projects, which are of great importance for many countries.
I think, first of all, it's a historical moment, and it was really appropriate to have this roundtable discussing the Eastern Partnership, because I do hope that unanimity is reached in the Council to grant the candidate status to Moldova and Ukraine. It's long overdue, and we have to do it. Now, what does it mean in terms of security? Until both countries join the European Union, they cannot benefit from the solidarity clauses for member states. So we have to invent something specific, some sorts of security guarantees for Ukraine and Moldova. This is a part of the idea put forward by President Macron of a European political community, which comes as a complement to the accession process, bringing security guarantees, bringing immediate partnership in terms of energy, which are also very strategic sectors. And we do have to be creative altogether, because Ukraine, Moldova are not NATO members, are not yet EU members, and still they need our support and our guarantees in terms of security.
I think it's very timely to have this Renew Europe roundtable. We do this, of course, annual, but especially now, due to Ukraine, the war, the aggressor of Mr. Putin from Russia. It's not only affects Ukraine, but also the whole region, like, for example, Georgia, Moldova, but also countries with liberal forces and democratic forces, in Belarus in opposition, of course, but also in Azerbaijan and Armenia. It's now the time to make the important decisions. It's now the time to be on the right path of history. That's also the reason that Renew Europe Group will call for a resolution this week to grant the candidate status of Ukraine and Moldova, and to strengthen also the relationship with Georgia. But I think it's very important also to engage with those liberal and democratic forces in Armenia and Azerbaijan, and of course to support the opposition in Belarus.
We cannot underestimate the political symbolism of this week's decision, which of course is not going to change all of a sudden. It's not going to bring a miracle, neither in terms of security nor in terms of the economic or the social situation in the country. But it's going to give that hope. It's going to put that element of hope for the countries and for the authorities that is going to motivate them in the long road that they are going to start now as of this week. And I'm very much hoping that they are going to start this road this week, because I'm convinced that they need it, and they deserve it as well.
One of the clear outcomes from our session here, of course, is that we all have to give ongoing full support to Ukraine. Ukraine must win this war. Ukraine must restore full control over its territory. We also should understand that Ukraine and also our other Eastern partners, be it Moldova, be it Georgia, be it others, have a lot to deliver also to Europe. That's why it's important that Moldova and Ukraine, and hopefully in foreseeable future also Georgia, will get candidate status for the European Union, so that the real negotiations and processes can start. Although these three countries already as we know, have quite well developed also in the eyes of the European Union's acquis, so that in this regard it is and will be very important step also for the future.
What is happening today in Europe, what is happening with Ukraine, with Moldova, with Georgia, is a change in the nature and in the objective of the enlargement strategy as such. In the past, the enlargement was a consequence of democracy, after fascism in Spain or Portugal, after communism in the eastern countries, and a process, a long-term process, which was offering a model for democratic and market transition. Today, the enlargement is also, and first of all, a new geopolitical tool. A geopolitical tool that we have decided to use to resist against the Russian aggression and to reorganize an architecture of security and stability in the European continent at large. The consequence of this is twofold. Europe must become a real power, starting from a real defense capacity. And Europe must reform also internally, because only a more effective and more democratic European Union, only a union which is free from the veto dictatorship of one country against all the others, will be able to fully play this geopolitical role, which is in our interest and which is in the interest of our Eastern partners.